Hey fellow sellers, BELAL again. Now, we talked about getting out of that cycle of rejection on the last video, and now we need to talk about, now that we're going to ditch the pitch, we're going to stop doing those monologues that invite those objections. What do we need to be doing? Okay? Now, I want you to think about this as sort of like a map. Okay? We want to find a pathway that is repeatable, that is easy for us to navigate on a regular basis to go from that hello to a meeting. That's what we need to do, okay? We got to find a way to make this so that we're stacking the odds in our favor on a regular basis, because no matter what you do in cold calling, anybody telling you that you're not going to get any rejection is lying to you. You will, because you don't know what's going on the other side of the phone. That person could have had their favorite cat die. That person could have had a run out of their favorite cereal in the morning. That person could have just had a really rough conversation with a loved one or their boss. And no matter what you say or how you say it, they're going to take it out on you right in that moment. That will happen. But the majority of people aren't having the worst day of their lives when you cold call them, okay? So we want to find a way to stack the odds in our favor of getting those conversations started. And the way we're going to do that is using a superpower that's already hardwired in your brain. This is already, you had this superpower and you didn't even know it. It's called chunking. It's our ability to take a complex task and break it down into smaller parts. The example I give in the course I'm going to give you right now is, imagine trying to climb a mountain, okay? If you know anything about mountain climbing, they don't just show up at the summit or at the base and reach the summit. They have to go through stages. So typically most mountains have stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're ever able to navigate each stage, you will reach the summit. Okay? In the same way, we do this with phone numbers. So instead of trying to remember a string of numbers, we break it down into smaller groupings, and that becomes easier to memorize. So that's your ability to do chunking. You do it all the time. And it's our brain superpower. We're going to apply it right now. We're going to use that social psychology and apply it to cold calling. And it looks something like this. We want to chunk the cold call and we want these parts of it right here. So every cold call has 4 successful stages that if you navigate it, you'll get a positive outcome. The first one is the first 5 seconds of the cold call that I got right here. If you navigate that correctly, that's sort of your stage 1. That will allow you to get another 15 to 25 seconds max with that prospect on the phone. If you handle that correctly, that allows you to get into the dialogue part about 1 to 7 minutes or so, depending on how long your cold call goes for. That's typically the average of a lot of good calls. And then there's somewhere in there then the close, okay? So we have to navigate these 4 parts. So I want you to think of them in terms of timing. And most traditional cold calling doesn't do this. It doesn't chunk the cold call for you. So when you think about ditching the pitch, now we need to say to ourselves, how do we navigate these 4 stages? And where am I losing? Where is the conversation dying off? Because now you can track that. Now you can pick up on, with the mic drop worksheet, where do I get hung up on? Where do the conversations die? And that's going to tell you a self-diagnosis, a way to assess how to improve. Okay? So this is the framework that we're going to use going forward. All right? And then tomorrow, I'll show you a little bit more about how we can apply it effectively. Take care.